Hey folks, it's time for the quote of the day, and today we're quoting one of the most important women in American history, in my opinion. I don't think that anybody that actually knows anything about her would actually disagree with me, but there's people always do their own little stupid rankings and shit like that. But I think that she's absolutely one of the most important people to have lived in our country. Today we are quoting, unfortunately, very topically, uh, Ida Bell Wells, also known as Ida B. Wells. Um, Ida Wells is an icon, an icon. She's an absolute fucking legend. Uh, this is a woman that basically laid the groundwork for what became the civil rights movement. This is a woman that laid a lot of the groundwork for the women's suffrage movement. This is a woman who spent her life fighting, fighting for people, mostly fighting against lynching. Now, I know that people don't like me using that word. It makes people's spine wrinkle a little bit. But the reality is that we have to talk about it. And to do that, I'm going to give you the quote of the day right up front. It's the most famous thing she's ever said, and it's one of the most important things I believe genuinely ever put forward. I think that we all know this in our heart, but sometimes somebody has to say it for us to really recognize how important it is that we do this. And so, without further ado, before we continue discussing it, Ida B. Wells once wrote and said, "The way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them." The way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them. This is very, very important as we continue to discuss what we're going to discuss today, which is going to be difficult because some people don't want to hear it. Some people don't want to recognize it. Some people don't want to know the truth. Some people are actively hiding the truth. And so I think that it's very, very important that we talk about it, especially, like I said, it's very topical right now. Those of you that know the name, know the story, know what's going on with this investigation into the Nolan Xavier Wells case, which they're not related. Ida B. Wells and Nolan Wells are not related. They are both from Mississippi, though. But there's this understanding of what could possibly have happened there that a lot of people are assuming happened, but we don't. It hasn't been investigated completely yet. Like, right, like we're still up in the air about this for some reason. But it's also important to remember something else that's very important that Ida Wells put forward, and I think the band Rage Against the Machine also said something to this effect. But she said, "Those who commit the murders write the reports." Those who commit the murders write the reports. Isn't that funny? It seems like almost like some of those who work forces are the same who burn crosses. And we know this is true. We know this is true because the last official lynching in the United States was in 1981. That was the last official one because, right, the racist relations were great after that, right? Like nothing bad ever happened again after 1981. Why would we even be talking about it today? Because we won racism, right? Like it was over. Like we won it. It's over. Like it doesn't exist anymore. Or could it be just that they got better at it and the people that were now installed in positions of reporting it, investigating it, were on the side of the people that were doing it? Now I know. How dare I? How dare I say such a thing that perhaps groups like the KKK infiltrated our systems of government and our law enforcement apparatus? How dare I put forward that idea? Only that it's absolutely true. And we know it's true, and we've seen it over and over and over again. Lynching's happening. Lynching is happening today. Lynchings are happening all over our country. I know I'm not saying that the Nolan Wells situation is without a doubt a lynching, but it has all the markings of it. And there was a group that put out a report in, I think it was February of this year, of 2026. This year, the Julian Group put out a study. The Julian Group is a civil rights organization that investigates stuff like this. Their report was called the Crimson Record, which was an homage to Ida B. Wells' investigative journalism into lynchings in the South in her time, which was called the Red Report or the Red Record. And they put out this report saying that this shit has been happening the entire time. And all of the evidence has been there. It's not like it's anything new. It's not like all of a sudden black folks just decided, well, you know what, all that strange fruit shit, we don't even care about that. Find me a rope and a tree. I'll take care of it. Like they didn't do that. That didn't happen. That's not happening. But yet it's, for some reason we're still finding people of color hanging from trees all over this fucking country. seemingly once a month or so. It's kind of crazy how lynchings are happening, or all the makings of all the things, but because they don't, what are they checking a box going, well, there's not any, we don't see any mutilation on the body. He still has all of his pieces attached, so it can't be a, are you fucking joking? Well, there's no marks that he was dragged for 4 miles behind a car, so it's obviously not a lynching. Are you fucking kidding me? Just because you don't have these particular things leading up to it doesn't mean that it's not a lynching. We can't rules lawyer our way around this. We can't look at my hands. You see them? They're on the screen right now. Now wait, watch. I don't have hands anymore. According to the way these people think. You can't see them. I don't have them anymore. They don't exist. Since 1981, I haven't had hands because you haven't seen them. Do you see how stupid that sounds? Do you see how fucking nonsensical that is? My hands are right here. Lynchings were right here. They were happening. We just didn't want to report them effectively. They got better at hiding them. They got better at the way they were doing them. You don't see a band of 75 white people walking down the road with a fucking rope and boards and sticks and pipes in their hand anymore. Now they go and they grab people when they're walking next to a school, and then you find them hanging from a tree. They just happen to know where the blind spots for the cameras are. Isn't that likely? Isn't that amazing how that works out? Look, I'm not trying to be a conspiratory guy. I don't traffic in theory like that. I'm telling you what is being reported. I'm telling you what's actually happening. And I know that people watching this, if anybody actually gets to this point without getting fucking all pissed off about it, I know that people watching this are going to be like, well, there's no official, you're just fear-mongering, you're just doing this. At what point in time, how many people need to hang from a tree before you start to go, maybe we should look into this? How many people need to die before you become aware of the problem? How many before you care? How many people? Tell me the number. Tell me the number and we'll try to make that shit happen for you. Just give it time. It'll happen. But then you're going to move the fucking goalpost then too. And it's not, we can't do it like this. It can't be this. It can't be happening, right? It can't be happening. Do you understand that your denial of the reality of people of color is actually racism? Do you not get that? That when people of color come to you and they tell you, hey, this is happening, and you're like, no, it's not. It couldn't be happening. We won racism. Nobody ever has any problems with people of other colors anymore. You're being silly. You're being hyperbolic. Like, that's fucking racism. You're being racist by denying the reality, the truth that other people are seeing. Now, you may not like it or you believe that law enforcement is always on the up and up and they would never lie about anything, right? They would never flub any numbers. They would never, put their knee on the back of a black man's neck for, 7-something minutes? They would never do that. They wouldn't do that. That's not what they do. Obviously, he deserved it, so they didn't do it. Right? That makes sense. Obviously, ICE agents, the people that they murder in the streets of America, they deserved it, right? Because it couldn't possibly be that they were wrong. It couldn't possibly be, because that would destroy everything that you think you know about this fucking country. And what I'm trying to tell you right now is what you know about this fucking country is lies, because this shit has been happening. Ida B. Wells spoke out about it. She tried to make sure that people knew the truth. And we here in America have decided, well, we don't really care. We don't really want to pay attention to it. We don't really want to know about it. It's easier for us to just put our blinders up and pretend, put our little shell up, build our fucking echo chambers so that we don't ever fucking see the truth. We can't do that anymore. On Ida Bell Wells' birthday, we need to recognize what's happening in this country. And yeah, maybe it's not as important to you as what's happening in politics. Maybe it's not as important to you as what's happening in this community or what's happening over here or what's happening overseas. Maybe it's not as important to you, but that doesn't mean that it's not important. And that doesn't mean that we don't have the time and the energy to put forth into looking at it and thinking about it and trying to address it and trying to make sure that people understand that it is really fucking happening. Because the only federal legislation that has ever been signed was signed into law by Joe Biden in 2022. That's how little Americans cared about it. That's how little politicians cared about it. 2022. Sit with that. Happy birthday. to Ida B. Wells. And to the rest of you, please take care of yourself and take care of others. I'll talk to you soon.